Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Is my voice audible? Okay, let's start. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the 10th chapter of the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is titled as King Rahuguna chastises Jadabharata. So we saw this, we know this story. Um, they, the, the palanquin carriers of Rahuguna, who is a very provincial king. He's not a great emperor like Bharat Maharaj was. So he was being carried on the palanquin by the palanquin carriers, but they were maybe one of the palanquin carrier became tired, or they wanted to have some people who were in rotation or whatever. It's not clearly mentioned. So they were looking for a replacement, and they found Jadabharata, who was very stout and well-formed body, and it was not very clear that he was a Brahmana or not. From the way his body was very dirty, and his Brahmin thread was so soiled that it almost the color merged with the color of the body. So neither the palanquin carriers and subsequently the king, none of them could actually understand whether he was a Brahmana. It seemed like he was a uh, Shudra, Avispashta Brahma Tejasa. His Brahma Tejas was Avispashta. It was not at all clear. So they did not know who he was. So when they caught him, uh, it is mentioned that he was moving very erratically because he did not want to hurt the ants and the insects. So Rahaguna got very upset. So he chastised the palanquin carriers. And when they got chastised, they understood that if already Veda has come, then the next Danda will only come. There was no Sama and Dana. Directly it started with Veda, which was appropriate because the the subjects of a kingdom are supposed to serve the king. So it was appropriate for him to start with chastisement. They understood that next will be Danda, and therefore they went and reported to the king that, okay, look, he is actually very well built and he has very well formed limbs. That's why we brought him to carry. And it's not that he has been carrying anything or he's tired or anything. He seems to be quite fresh. So we thought he would do it. But somehow something is wrong with him. He is not walking properly. He is jumping around. And if he walks like this, definitely he will again be disturbed and you will punish all of us. So before you punish all of us, we want to just inform that it is the problem with him, not with us. So, and if he continues to carry this way, then there will be a problem. We are warning you beforehand. And Rahugana understood. Okay, so because it's a teamwork, he understood that if one person is not doing his job properly, then the whole team's performance will be compromised. So he started chastising Jadabharata in very mm, sarcastic words. Um, uh, he said, do it properly, otherwise you will be punished. Okay. So, mm, actually, it is mentioned that Rahuguna was generally in mode of goodness, but because of he had to act as a king, he invoked some passion and spoke like that. Otherwise, he was a very respectful person. He honestly did not know that Jadabharata was a Brahmana, so it was not it was an inadvertent offense towards a great personality, and that Jadabharata happened to be a great Vaishnava also. So it became a Vaishnava aparad in one sense, but because of the mercy of Jadabharata, it was excused. Okay. So otherwise, from a very social perspective, what Rahuguna did, considering that Jadabharata as he evaluated Jadabharata as a what to say, as a Shudra, is not improper. You know, it is not improper. If he had evaluated him as a Brahmana and he had spoken like that, it would have been a clear-cut offense. So Jadabharata's activities, Rahuguna's dealing with Jadabharata cannot be uh, criticized. That certainly cannot be criticized. So we had seen this very clearly. Then he started very sarcastically speaking to him, which is also all right. Which is also all right. It is not a serious mistake. So he said that, oh, you are very well built, you have very strong arms, and you are sorry. Oh, in very sarcastic way, he says, "Oh, look at you. You are not strong. You are very weak, and you are already old, and you have been carrying the palanquin for such a long time, so you must be very tired." And in fact, these other palanquin bearers are the ones who are not cooperating with you, but you are doing a very good job. So they have to be punished, and you have to be rewarded. Like that, in very clear, sarcastic terms, he spoke to Jadabharata. Okay. But Jadabharata did not have a material body with which he identified as the self. So he did not really bother. After he heard this, without getting affected, he silently started carrying the palanquin as before. In the same way, Ishumatra Avalokana Gatihi. You know, he looked only 2 or 3 feet ahead and then jumped, and 2 or 3 feet ahead and jumped, and 2 or 3 feet ahead and jumped. Again, it continued. The palanquin was again rocking. So this time, Rahugana was not going to spare him. So he became extremely angry and he said, "You fool, what are you doing? A, are you a dead person despite having life within your body? And you are disregarding the order of your master? How dare you? Now I will punish you so that you learn your lesson properly." Okay. And in this matter, when the king spoke incoherently, thinking himself to be a king, which is what he is supposed to do, because he has the role of a king, and in order to execute his duties as a king, he has to identify as a king. Okay. So, not that Rahuguna, it is mentioned that he was Upasita Vriddha. He was certainly uh, very well learned. Uh, he knew the difference between body and soul. It's not that he did not know. But still, when the role is assigned, when a king is assigned that role, then he has to have that abhiman as a king. Uh, he has to have that abhiman as a king. So that is very natural. Okay. So he was acting. So, uh, so when he spoke like this, Jadabharata, without any pride, he smiled at Rahaguna and he spoke to him. He spoke to him in response. Hmm. So he said, Jadabharata replied, he said, "Actually, my dear king, what you spoke, I don't consider it as sarcasm. It would be sarcasm only if I was the body, but I am not the body." Okay. So I don't take your words deceitful or sarcastic. Um, and second, you called me as not nourished, very well nourished, and all these things. These are not the words of a person who is very well learned. These are not the words of a person who has proper knowledge. They don't speak in terms of that because, all this strength, thinness, sickness, anxiety, anger, false identity, illusion, they do not belong to a person who is self realized. Okay. It is only for a person who is falsely identifying with the body, because these are not qualities of the soul, these are the qualities of the body, and the body is not the self. And I am not identifying with the body, so they don't belong to me. Okay, they don't belong to me. And you called me living dead. Now, my question to you is, are you any different? Are you any different? Is your body eternal? The nature of the body is that it will keep dying at every moment. Antavanta ime deha nityasyuktaha sharirinaha. Huh? So this is the same with everyone. So, and then he said that you said that you are my master and I am your servant. Are you sure that it is a permanent situation? Okay. Are you sure you have eternally been my, so, you know, are you sure it is an eternal position? Which means, is that upadhi an eternal upadhi? Now, this is a very, in one sense, yeah, if someone is at, you know, it seems like Jadabartha is proposing anarchy. Okay. Of course, no one is an eternal king, no one is an eternal subject. Does it mean that no one follows any authority? Okay. That does not mean, for the regular functioning of this universe, you need, even though those authorities and roles may be temporary, you do need people who are subordinates to follow, who are temporary subordinates to follow the temporary authorities for a temporary duration of time. It is natural. Everyone understands this. It's not that Jadabharata did not understand this, but still, Jadabharata was trying to pull Rahuguna to the platform of talking on the platform of the difference between body and soul, which actually Rahuguna did understand, but still, so Rahuguna's arguments are all on the conventional platform, and Jadabharata's arguments are all on the transcendental platform. So Raghuna's argument from one perspective are all correct. And Jadabharata's argument from his perspective is all correct. So it's both are perfect. Their arguments are very perfect. It's not like but just that they are not speaking on the same platform. Just that they are not speaking on the same platform. Okay. So it is like you know the it is like someone says uh, the uh, someone says that oh, this upma tastes awful because there is too much salt in it. And the other one says, this upma tastes awful because the cook is not well trained. So now both are correct from their own perspective. Huh? There is more salt. That is why the upma is tasting improperly. That is also correct. And it is tasting awful because the cook does not know how to cook. That is also correct. So therefore, that cook put lot of salt. So from it's not like Jadabharata is right and Rahuguna is wrong, or Rahuguna is right and Jadabharata is wrong. Both are right, actually, but from a different perspective. And the purpose of Jadabharata was not to prove Rahuguna wrong, but to help him come to the platform of bhakti. So therefore, it was not an argument. It was a conscious endeavor, conscious, compassionate endeavor on the platform, on the side of Jadabharata, to raise Rahuguna to the level of bhakti. That was the purpose. The purpose was not winning an argument. The purpose was not to show that Rahuguna was wrong. Okay. So, and Rahuguna is also not trying to win the argument. Rahuguna is trying to seek clarification. Okay. And eventually Rahuguna understands. Eventually Rahuguna understands that Jadabharata is compassionately trying to pull me to the level of, he is trying to compassionately pull me to the level of um, the platform of soul. So I should understand it. uh, and he accepts it. So, yeah, just give me 1 second. We have reached 100. I feel that you'll never reach, and every day it happens. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So here he continues. Hmm. So when the conditions of servant and master are fixed, then one may say that a person is suitable to be engaged in service. So he says, other than convention, which means other than conventional reality, I do not at all see any distinction of master and servant. Who is the master and who is the servant, O king? If you still think that you are the king, what can I do for you? Okay. So he says, if you still think you are the king, tell me what I can do for you. So from the platform of conventional reality, what Rahuguna is speaking is correct. He says, hey, you cannot, we are not Mayavadis who say Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. We don't say that this whole Jagat is Mithya, it is all false. It may be temporary, but it is temporary reality. Okay. It is not outright illusion, non-existent illusion. It is temporary reality only. And because it is temporary reality, I have to act on the platform of temporary reality at least for a temporary time. I didn't the Lord bestow, you know, it's not by chance that I became a Kshatriya, and I'm executing the mission of the Supreme Lord. Isn't You may say that this whole Varnashrama is system is a material designation, it's a temporary designation, it's a temporary upadhi. But Krishna instituted it, and I have to execute it. Okay. And then Jadabharata said, like, okay, if you were chastising me, you were threatening to punish me. Now, can you tell, couldn't you see that I was self realized? So, okay, that probably Rahuguna could not see. Then he said, okay, at least from a material perspective, you should have at least been able to see that I was either mentally retarded or deaf and dumb. So now can you tell what are you trying to accomplish by punishing a person who is self-realized? Or if you say that you could not find that out, you could not figure that out, at least can you tell what you're trying to accomplish by punishing a mentally retarded person or a deaf and dumb person? Okay. So thus answering the king by repeating whatever words were spoken by Rahuguna and giving explanation to those. Uh, Jadabharata thought that in this way I will speak to him, give him bhakti, and that way destroy his prarabdha karma. So this was Jadabharata's goal. This is what he had in his heart, the compassionate mood of somehow I will speak in this way, give him some inspiration for bhakti, and in that way destroy his prarabdha karma. Okay. So, so thinking in this way, he spoke like this and resumed carrying the king's palanquin. But at this point of time, you know, Rahuguna understood that this is no ordinary person. He jumped out of the palanquin and fell at the feet of Jadabharata and gave up his pride as being a king, and he started begging for forgiveness. He spoke. He said, my dear, oh, you are a Brahmana, you know, you have hidden yourself and you are moving about, you wear the sacred thread. Huh? So now, can you please tell me which renounced sage are you? Whose son are you? Where were you born? Why did you come to this place? And if you have come to benefit us, then are you Lord Narayana or are you Kapiladev? Who are you? Hmm. Please understand that I am not afraid of the thunderbolt of Indra or the trident of Lord Shiva or the punishing staff of Yamaraj, nothing. I am only afraid of offending a Brahmana. So please forgive me. I really did not know that you are a Brahmana. Huh? So please forgive me not associating with the material world and appearing dull-witted, but having realized knowledge. You wander about with no superior. Therefore, O saint, I am not able to understand your words about yoga, even though I am trying with my attentive mind. Okay. Whatever you have spoken about, hmm, you know, the principles of yoga, I am not able to really understand it very clearly. Hmm. So he says, now I inquire from you about the shelter in this world, the Lord himself who appeared as a portion of knowledge. Okay. Are you Kapila but hiding your identity and wandering about examining this world? So, how can an ordinary materialistic person like myself understand the nature and the movements of a great personality like you? Uh, I am incapable of understanding. Okay, I am incapable of understanding. Okay, just give me 1 second. So he says that hmm, how can a person bound by to family life understand, your greatness? I am incapable of understanding. So then he asks, okay, then if he says he could not understand, then he has to clarify what he could not understand, right? He has to clarify what he could not understand. So he says that first thing that he says is that it is observed that you say that you are not fatigued. Uh, When I carry something, when I perform some action, I do get fatigued. This is my inference. So if I get fatigued, and I have observed so many people, everyone gets fatigued, then is it wrong on my part to infer that you might also have gotten fatigued? So when I spoke in that, yeah, yes, I did speak in a sarcastic way. When I said, oh, you must have been fatigued, I really meant, hey, you did not do any work. You should not have been fatigued. Okay. Yes, I did speak in a sarcastic way, which for which I'm really I apologize. But the point is, your answer is you could have just chastised me that, yeah, you're not supposed to speak in sarcastic terms. I agree with that point. But you said fatigue does not exist to me on, exist for me only. Okay. So when you say like that, how am I to understand? My practical experience is that everyone who does some work gets fatigued. Okay. They get fatigued. Okay. So to say that fatigue itself does not exist in you is very difficult to understand. So now Jada may say, yeah, but fatigue exists only for the material body, not for the soul. He says, look, my dear sir, it's not that I do not know the difference between body and soul. I'm very much aware of that. I understand that I am not this body. I know that. Okay. But still, you cannot reject the conventional world completely because one cannot carry water with a false pot. One must accept the conventional practical world based on the evidence. And then he says, he gives an example. Stalyagni-tapat payasobitaptas tattapatas tandula garba randihi deha indriya asu ashaya sannikarshat tat samsriti purushasya anurodhat. He says, look, if you want to cook the rice to make sweet rice, you don't put the rice directly on fire. You put the rice on milk and you put that milk and rice in a pot and you keep the pot on the fire. And when the fire heats up the pot, uh, when the pot becomes hot, the milk becomes hot. When the milk becomes hot, the rice becomes hot and it gets cooked. Okay. Even though the rice is not directly on fire. Similarly, there could be adhyatmic, adibhautik, adidaivik kleshas, uh, which may affect the gross body. But because of close association with the gross body, the subtle body also gets affected. And because of close association with the subtle body, the soul will also get affected. So you may say that I am not fatigued. I am not fatigued. It is only the body which is fatigued. Yeah, you may say that you are not fatigued, but are you the soul not in touch with the subtle body? Huh? And is your subtle body not in touch with the gross body? And is your gross body not experiencing uh, adhyatmic, adibhautik, and adidaivik kleshas? If that be the case, then due to mm, proximity, mm, due to proximity, there must be um, there must be an effect. Okay, what do they call it? Mutual induction. Okay, something like mutual induction. Okay, um, uh, okay, like direct current may not be passing, but then due to current passing in a nearby, whatever. Mm, uh, Wire, there could be a mutual induction of current, inductive current, right? So like that. So this is what the Rahuguna is arguing. And then he said, you said that yes, that I will follow you. Just tell me if this position of being a master and servant are permanent. Okay, are permanent. Yes, I agree that they are impermanent. Okay. But even for an impermanent temporary time, if I have been assigned the role of a king, then I have to take that role and execute my duties, right? Do you mean to say that just because it is temporary, I should stop doing my duties? No. So he says that though you say punishing a dull person is useless, but one who is a servant of the Lord, the king is a servant of the Lord, he does not act uselessly. Isn't the king who is engaged in the dharma of punishing the citizens, which is worship of the Lord, doesn't that act of punishing the citizens, errant citizens, uh, doesn't it actually um, destroy the sins? Please understand. Okay. Then Krishna says, Swakarmanam tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that a person belonging to a varnashrama, by executing his varnashrama duties, actually destroys the sins and achieves perfection. And that execution of the duties is also considered to be a type of worship of the Supreme Lord because it is executing the instructions of the Supreme Lord on the platform of varnashrama. So you are criticizing me for executing the duties of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How could you do this? Okay. How could you criticize me like that? So this is where we ended our discussion on Thursday. And on Friday I was traveling, and Saturday, Sunday we don't have the class. So we have a few more verses left. How many? 24, 25. Okay, two more verses left. So we'll quickly complete these two verses and then open up for some discussion. So those of you who have some questions, in another 5 to 7 minutes, we will start. We will open up. So please kind of frame your questions if you have any. Okay. So here, Rahuguna continues. Tanme bhavannara devabhimana madena tuchchikrita sattamasya krishishta maitri drishamartha bando yata tare sad avadhyanamamha. O Arthabandho, O friend of the distressed, Krishishta Maitri Drisham, please show your friendly glance. Bhavan tu Chikrita Sattamasya, on this person who has insulted uh, the greatest devotee. Please show your friendly glance on this person who has insulted the greatest devotee. Why? Naradeva Abhimana Madena. Because out of pride of this false identity as a king, I insulted you, the greatest devotee, so please show your friendly glance upon me. Tad, so that uh, may yatatare sad avadhyanam ammaha, so that I can overcome the sin of neglecting the devotee. Sad avadhyanam. So please show your mercy so that only by your mercy I can overcome the sin of offending a Vaishnava like yourself. Here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, he says, since your statements appear to me contrary, because he says, I agree that you are very learned, no doubt. I agree that you are very learned, but having said that, I cannot completely accept your words. I am unable to completely accept your words with my current level of understanding. So please raise my level so that I can see the reality from the vantage point from which you are seeing that reality. That's what he is asking. The very fact that Rahuguna is showing so much respect to Jadabharata indicates that Rahuguna accepts Jadabharata to be very, very learned. So I cannot accept means I am unable to accept your statements based on my current level of intelligence. So please raise my intelligence to that level so that I can see reality from the vantage point from which you are seeing the reality. Otherwise, from my level, your statements seem at the most, what to say, incomplete. At the most, incomplete. It is like telling um, all that matters is milk. The glass does not matter. Yes, the glass does not matter, but you cannot just heat that milk directly. You cannot drink that milk directly. You need vessel for that. Yes, vessel is secondary to the milk, but you cannot say the vessel has no utility at all. The way you are speaking, you are completely dismissing conventional reality completely. While I agree that conventional reality is secondary, but it is nevertheless very important while we are living in this world as a conditioned soul. Okay, this is the argument and very fair, very fair. Okay. So since your statements appear to me contrary, glance upon me with affection. So that's what he says. So contrary, so glance upon me with affection means what? Otherwise, if really um, Rahuguna felt that what Jadabharata was speaking was ridiculous, then he would not give him respect. Why would he say, glance upon me with affection? It means, please explain to me. Please explain to me because I am seeing from a very dull perspective. You are seeing from a very elevated perspective. With my dull perspective, I am unable to understand what you're talking about. Okay. So he says, I have been intoxicated with false identity as a king, thinking myself learned and being falsely proud. Because of this, I have offended the great devotee. I thought, what do these people know? What do these people know? Definitely a Kshatriya can feel like that. What does this Shudra know? Because definitely uh, um, he knows better than a Kshatriya, definitely knows better than a Shudra. He felt, what do these people know? Hmm, like that. So, which is fair. Because of this, I will fall to hell. Thinking in this way, show an affectionate glance to me by which I will be able to cross the sin of insulting the devotees. That's what he's asking. Then he continues. Na vikriya vishwa suhrutsakasya samyena vitabhimatestavapi mahadvimanat swakritaddi madrik nangshantyadurad apishulapanihi. Because the great offense that I have committed to you, who are the friend of the Lord, who is the friend of all, to you who are free of false identity and see all beings as your own self. Those are the qualifications of Jadabharata. Now, after hearing from him, he could understand that he was a very exalted soul. So he says, because of the great offense that I have committed to you, persons like me and even Shiva are quickly destroyed, even if you are not disturbed by the offense. Okay. So this is a very important point. Offending a Vaishnava is such that whether that Vaishnava takes offense or does not take offense, the reaction will come. Hmm. The reaction will come. Uh, Of course, which means uh, rectification of the mistake is not dependent on whether the recipient feels it was a mistake or not. Okay. So uh, it is not like, there are toll booths. Okay. There are toll booths. Have you seen when you are traveling by road, there are toll booths. So in toll booths, previously they used to be completely manual toll booths where you physically um, pay the money and get the receipt. Okay. So sometimes if the person on the toll booth sleeps, then you may get to escape without paying the money. Okay. But now there is fast tag. Okay. So there is fast tag where through a sensor they sense and automatically deduct the money. Okay. So whether the person sleeps or does not sleep, okay, your money will automatically be deducted. Okay. You cannot escape. So offenses are like that. Whether the person whom we are offending, whether he takes offense or not, doesn't matter actually. Offense is an offense. It is like fast tag. Automatically, the money will be deducted. Uh, So that's what he is telling. This is true even with Lord Shiva. So he is not suggesting that Lord Shiva um, uh, offends other people. What he means is no person can think that I am such a great devotee. Therefore, if I offend, there is no reaction. One cannot think like that. So that's what it means. So he says that. So he is not demeaning Lord Shiva. He says that even Lord Shiva, like that. So Jalabarata may say, oh, don't worry about it. I do not suffer because of your offense. What is the question of counteracting it? Jadabarata may say like that. So Rahugana says, even though you are not disturbed, persons like me will get destroyed. Even persons like Lord Shiva are affected. And this is quoted. Nascharya etad yadasatsu sarvada mahad vininda kunapatmavadishu sersham mahapurusha pada pamsubir nirasta tejassu tadeva shobhanam. So this is um, Sati Devi. speaking to Daksha. Okay. So she says that it is not surprising uh, that materialists claiming that the gross body is the soul constantly criticize the devotees with envy and become deprived of their powers by the dust from the feet of the great devotees. That glory of the criticism is the result that it gives. So yeah, just give me 1 second. Yeah. So therefore, materialists means those who lack sukriti, those who lack sukriti. So therefore, they cannot see because they lack sukriti. They cannot see from a devotional perspective. And when they cannot see from a devotional perspective, then they will see faults. Okay, then they will see faults, and they are seeing faults in devotees. Hmm. Okay. Thus ends the commentary on the 10th chapter of the 5th canto of Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous Acharya. So this brings us to the end of this particular chapter. Um, so if there are any quick discussion points, comments, questions, we can take. We have close to 50 minutes for discussion. If there are any leftover questions from previous sessions, we can take that also. There are some questions in the chat box. We'll take them first, and then gradually we'll take some verbal questions also. Okay. Long time back in a lecture, I heard that Rahuguna is the deer to which Jadabharata was attached to earlier. And by association of pure devotee, the deer got birth, uh, took birth as a king and getting to hear Atmagyan from Jadabharata himself. Could not check the source of this with the speaker, but very interesting insight. I'm not very sure if it's an insight. It's probably just some other acharya has given this additional detail. Quite possible. I am not very sure. Maybe some acharya has mentioned it that way. Quite possible, but I am not very sure about it. Hmm. Okay. One more devotee says that she has also heard. Okay, quite possible. The result of the offense comes even if the recipient uh, takes it or not. But if the devotee knows that the other person is offending and he prays to the Lord to not to take the offense, then also the person would get the result of the offenses. Well, in very rare cases like Jagai and Madai offending Nityananda Prabhu or Rahuguna offending Jadabharata, Krishna may respond to such prayers. It is possible, but we cannot try to take advantage of that. Hmm. That it's okay, it's a great devotee, even if I offend him. Because he is a great devotee, he will pray for me and request Krishna not to take offense. We cannot depend on that. Okay, there is another question. A bhakta who commits offenses to Vaishnavas at Kanishta stage, obviously out of ignorance, will suffer the results of those aparadas even in his advanced stage. Or he may never attain the advanced stage due to aparada. See, aparadas are like negative bhakti in one sense. Of course, there are some differences also there, but they are like negative bhakti. So they will not completely destroy a person unless the offense is very, very serious and almost like irreconcilable offenses. Of course, there is no offense which is completely irreconcilable. Just that the duration of rectification of that offense may take a long time. Okay. There is no offense which is completely irreconcilable. Okay. Just that the duration may take a long time. So there is no permanent, uh, unrectifiable mistake, eternal. There is nothing. like eternal damnation like that. And there is always scope for improvement. One can realize one's mistake and rectify one's mistake. It is never too late. Um, that is there. Um, so definitely, if at an early stage someone has committed an offense, then the moment when they progress, when they realize the gravity of that offense, when they repent for it, beg for forgiveness, sincerely practice devotional service, the offense is rectified. Okay, there is another. Can you please explain little more about Lord Ram reacted to that street person? I think this is in the context of Lord Ramachandra killing that Shudra Shambuka, who was a Shudra. So who was a Shudra? He should, and he was imitating the a Brahmana, and he was performing some austerities. So Lord Ramachandra, he went and killed him. He just took his sword and chopped off his head. This is what Lord Ramachandra did to Shambuka. This is a very, in one sense, in today's day and age, this is a very controversial thing. So they people see it as very casteist, um, you know, as very casteist mentality manifesting in Lord Ramachandra, that he killed a person who acted like a Brahmana. So the point is that it is not like that. One may have the skill, one may have the skill, but one must have the character also of that particular Varna. Otherwise, merely possessing the skill of that particular Varna does not qualify one to be belonging to that particular Varna. So, and also probably Lord Ramachandra saw that this Shambuka would, uh, if he is allowed to um, do this, then his sinful reactions will increase more and more and more. So rather, if I kill him now, at least he can be saved from further sinful reactions. So from that perspective, and also so that he does not set the wrong precedent for others to follow, so that people think that, oh, it does not matter whether I'm a Brahmana or not. I can just follow the duties of a Brahmana and I will become a Brahmana like that. People should not do that. So when Lord Ramachandra did this, he had all these perspectives in mind when he killed Shambuka. But those who do not understand this, they will criticize Lord Ramachandra to be very, what is this? Um, this is very casteist mentality and like that. Okay, there is another question. Can you please explain Vaishnava Parad? Unintentional offenses. What is the result of such offenses? Okay, so unintentional offenses, which means where it was not committed due to disrespect. See, offense means there is disrespect. Okay, so offense means there is disrespect. Whether so he may know that the person is a Vaishnava or not Vaishnava. No, that is different. Okay, but offense means which is born due to some amount of disrespect. Now, sometimes people may not have disrespectful mentality, but um, you know, unknowingly they may do something which is not born out of disrespect. So that is not considered as an offense. Okay, that is not considered as an offense. So, like for example, you are walking and by mistake you stepped on a tulsi leaf without knowing that there was a tulsi leaf there, which was not committed due to, an offensive mentality. So that is not considered as an offense. That is not considered as an offense. Okay. Uh, Moment. And if you never come to know that you stepped on a tulsi, okay, that is not considered as an offense. But the moment you come to know that an offense has been committed inadvertently, and if there is no proper repentance, and if one thinks that, oh, anyways, I did it, unknowingly only. If one feels like that, that moment it becomes an offense. So inadvertent mistakes done, as long as you don't come to know about it, the offense is not taken. But the moment you come to know about it, and if there is no sufficient regret and repentance, then at that moment, offense is added to it. Like that. Okay. There is another question. Text 20, Srila Prabhupada's translation. To examine people and who is actually a human being and who is not, you have presented yourself to be deaf and dumb person. Are you not moving this way upon the surface of the world? What does the last line mean here? Last line means what? Are you not moving this way upon the surface of the world? That's the last line. That's the meaning you're asking about. Yeah, yeah. Are you moving about? So basically, he says, are you like Kapila Dev who is moving on the surface of this world for the purpose of, you know, mm, understanding who is a human being and who is not a human being, uh, you know, which is basically Sankhya. Sankhya means to clearly see with differentiation what and what is not, like that, in that sense. Okay, Mother Gail.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah, I have a question, but just to follow up on um, the your answer to another question. Um, why is it that to behave as a brahmana when you don't have, I guess, there's some scars for it? Why is that so bad?
I mean qualification, because people think that a varna is defined by your skills. Okay, like for example, Ekalavya in the Mahabharata,
Yeah,
Ekalavya
that's
was
what I
an
was thinking of.
extraordinary archer.
Yeah,
He was an extraordinary archer, to the extent that even Arjuna was astonished to seeing his archery skills.
yeah,
And and but still Drona refused to teach him. So Drona refused to teach him because he
yeah.
did not have the character of a Kshatriya. So the most important quality is not the skill of archery, but one should have the heart of protecting people. So Drona
Uh-huh.
could clearly see that that quality was not there in Ekalavya. So if he taught archery further to Ekalavya, then he would use his extraordinary expertise in demoniac ways.
Yeah, yeah.
So therefore, here Shambuka performing that, Lord Ramachandra could have seen that his intentions are bad. His intentions are bad. And also this would, and also because Krishna clearly says, Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharmo Sonushtita. Better to do your own duties improperly than to do someone else's duty properly. And it is the job of the king to ensure that each one of his subjects is engaged according to his qualification. So here he saw that a person was engaged not according to his qualification. Now you may say that, does it warrant death? Is it
Uh-huh.
such a serious problem that it warrants death? Well, mistakes don't always warrant death, but sometimes when the consequences of that mistake are very serious, it warrants death penalty. So in this particular case, he was going to set a very wrong precedent for uh, his many people, many of his subjects. Okay, so that was a very uh, or whatever it may be. Lord Ramachandra clearly saw that the consequences were very, very dangerous. So he killed him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad that you brought in that verse from the Gita, you know, Because it's better to do your own duty imperfectly. Can you just touch on that? Why it's better to do your own duty imperfectly? Is it because, as you were saying, that what the real significance or what really matters in varnashram is your mentality, the character. That's how you should be classified more than by your skill.
Yeah,
You should be categorized in your varna by your character
yeah.
or
So
mentality.
the point is, one should not see these duties just in terms of how it helps the society. That is secondary, actually.
Uh-huh.
But the more important purpose of these duties is self-purification, purifying the heart.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's just like, for example, there are prisoners, right? So
Uh-huh.
prisoners, while they are inside the prison, they may be engaged in various kinds of duties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the purpose of engaging them in the duties is not just so that there is some socially productive work that is being accomplished. That
Uh-huh.
is not the only purpose. The purpose is that by engaging in those duties, you teach them some subservience, you inculcate in them some repentance, and an understanding of how what they did was wrong and all that, so that after that they are released. When they are released, they are expected to be better citizens. Okay. So, in the same way, one should not see the Varnashrama duties purely as some socially useful, productive work alone.
Uh-huh.
That is actually secondary.
Yeah.
But the primary thing is that by engaging in these duties, there is internal purification of that soul. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the disconnect for me, I think normally is how since that's the social benefit is not the primary thing, how the execution of the activities, something that seems so external, could have such a purifying effect.
Ah, that is because each individual has a particular disease in the sense that he is conditioned in a particular way. Okay. So therefore, these Varnashram activities are designed in such a way that particular activities will particular the internal tendency in that particular conditioned soul in a very specific way. Okay. How exactly it happens, that for that we will have to uh, go a little bit more deeper into the Dharma Shastras to understand that. But the way they are designed is like that. Okay. If people are conditioned, just like medicines. Okay. How particular medicines, how is it that paracetamol works on your fever? You know, you or me don't know because uh, we are
Chemists
not
or
chemists or biologists where
yeah.
we exactly know how a particular chemical, what is the cause of fever and how a particular chemical, how it acts on uh, that whole fever and how it arrests it. We do not know. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
similarly, but definitely just because we do not know or we do not understand does not mean that there is no science behind it. The very
Uh-huh.
fact that it works, it has a science behind it. In the same way, performance of Varnashram duties, the very fact that they purify the heart, it means there is a science behind it, whether we understand it or not.
Can you say again, because your voice got garbled for a moment?
I said in the same way, whether we understand or not, uh, Varnashram duties, they purify in a particular way. The very fact that they are purifying, it means that there is a science behind it, whether we understand the science or not.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so my my question based on today's class was about fault.
Mhm.
You know, so you were saying that a person who sees fault is because he doesn't have so much sukriti, or that might be one reason, right? He hasn't accumulated sufficient sukriti, so he sees fault. But
No,
even
what I meant was a materialistic person is unable to see the inherent value in the activities of a Vaishnava. So therefore, he sees them as being faulty. Okay. For example, he may see a person, for example, devotees, you know, they do abhishek of the deity form of the Lord by pouring milk and honey and all of that, and ghee and all of that. A person may see it as you're wasting your money. You're wasting your money. You could use that money to feed genuinely hungry people. Okay. But what are you doing? You are just pouring all these things on a metal deity, which does not have the senses to uh, taste and enjoy what you are pouring on that statue.
uh-huh.
So they cannot see the inherent value of what Vaishnavas are doing. So therefore, they may see it as faulty, those actions as faulty. So in the same way, why they are seeing it as faulty? Swalpa punyavatam rajan, because they have swalpa punya. So here punya refers to sukriti. Because they have very little sukriti, they cannot see the inherent value of the activities performed by Vaishnavas. Therefore, they see it as fault.
Yeah, inherent value means they don't appreciate the devotion and
Yeah.
the effects of devotion,
Hmm.
or how it pertains to spiritual advancement. These things they
Yeah.
cannot appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because it's not that just because we're Vaishnavas that we don't have faults, you know?
No, we do have faults. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
see, we may have genuine faults, but what I'm telling is some of the activities which we perform, not out of fault, but out of devotion, can also be perceived as fault by people who have materialistic mentality.
Very good. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. There are more questions. Okay, Madhavi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah. Prabhuji, one follow-up question first. I have another question because regarding the Shambhuka's case we were discussing. So, when Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita that Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhavashah. So, in that case, Guna and Karma both should be there to call particular person of particular category, like particular Varna, like that. Because in Shambhuka's case, his Guna, like you were saying, his character was not that of Kshatriya. So he didn't have the Gunas of Kshatriya. But Karma he was trying to do
No,
of
no, 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 no.
Kshatriya.
It's not like that.
Sorry,
It's not
the
like that.
Brahmana, not Kshatriya.
That's
Eklavya's
okay.
case Kshatriya. Like
Yeah. No, no, no. The karma should follow the guna. It's not that anyone does any karma and can claim to be belonging to that varna. No. You should have first the guna, and based on that guna, you should follow the karma, and then, so of which guna is primary, karma is secondary. So if karma alone is there, guna is not there, then it is all the more a problem. So when he says guna karma vibhagashaha, it is primarily guna only. And that karma should be following that guna. So you should have guna. And if you engage in activities according to your guna, then that particular varna will be nourished. Okay. So
okay.
of the two, the primary is guna.
Guna.
And if
Okay.
karma is there, guna is not there, then it is outright sinful because you are doing
Okay.
someone else's dharma.
Okay. Okay. Understood. And like we discussed about this Thalagni Tapat, Payasudi Tapat, that was
Mhm.
so in our lives, material part of our lives, also we do see that certain situations in the life we get affected very much, but at the same time, at theoretical level, we know that I am different from this. Actually, I have nothing to do with this situation. But
Yeah,
still, it does give a lot of pain.
yeah.
So, in that situation, how to means what Ravana was saying. So, how to apply that thing so that whatever only theoretically we understand can also be effectively implemented in the practice.
Well, for that, there has to be gradual, um, progress on the path of bhakti. So when we progress and develop some devotional maturity, then automatically yata yatatma parimrudyatesho mat punya gata shravana bidanehi tata tata pashyati vastu sukshmam chakshur yataivanjana samprayuktam. So the ability to see clearly, not just theoretically, but uh, you know, much more deeply on a practical platform, that comes only when um, to the extent that we progress on the path of bhakti. So if we sincerely progress, uh, uh, you know, then we will be able to the extent we progress to that extent, we will be able to internalize the reality and uh, be able to
Okay.
realize it practically also.
So in that is why means we see many times that there are certain situations really very disturbing, but means all the Maharaj, sannyasis, if in their life something is happening like that, they are not much disturbed because means and in a way that will show you how much we get disturbed by the situations in our physical means material life also is the indicator of how much really we are progress
Yeah, yeah, correct.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktir anyatra chesha trika ekakal. So the more we get affected, the less we are detached. The more
Mm-hmm.
the more we are the more we progress in bhakti, the more we will get detached. So our getting disturbed indicates the level of our attachment or the lack of our detachment. So and that lack of detachment is a sign of lack of progress on the path of bhakti. So to the extent we progress, to that extent we will become detached, and to the extent we become detached, that is to that extent we will not be affected by the external situations.
Actually, it is a little complicated phenomena probably because means many times in the Bhagavatam also it is said that one should discharge their own duties, means material duties also towards our parents, towards our children, whatever is there. It should be done properly like that. So while doing that and still maintaining the detachment, it's a very intricate balance, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, that is why, see, to start any work, I'm sure when you started practicing, when you started learning homeopathy, in the beginning, it would have been difficult. Uh, to diagnosis would have been difficult. Prescribing proper medicines would have been difficult. But the more you spend time and became more um, experienced, then it started coming more naturally. So the same thing is true with spiritual practices also.
yeah, true, Prabhuji. Religion, one small thing, like when we were discussing about the offenses, that offenses, whether the person towards whom the offense has happened, he may consider it as, he may take offense or he may not take, still the reaction will come. Like that we discussed. But also, there is another thing that even if the offense has not happened actually, but someone
Mhm.
takes offense
Yeah.
So, as in the case of Rupa Goswami, that Brahmana got offended,
Yeah.
that he felt he's laughing on me. So, in our lives also, many times it happens that we have no intention, we have never understood also that somebody got, hurt or something. Nothing was intended like that, but still people feel like
Yeah.
that. So,
If there
how
was,
we,
if there was no disrespectful attitude, there is no offense actually.
even if the
But
person takes it,
yeah, but when you come to know that the person has taken offense, and if you still think that, oh, I did not intend it, so I will not get, then immediately you get offense because you did not intend it. But now that you know that your actions have caused hurt to another person and it does not affect you at all, it means already the offense is there in your heart. So, so the moment you come to know, so if you never come to know that the other person got hurt by your actions, there is no offense if you are actually not disrespectful. But the moment you come to know that the person got hurt, if you are actually not disrespectful, then it will seriously affect your heart and you would want to go and apologize to that person and rectify that mistake.
okay. Same thing, Rupa Goswami father also did, no? Like he
Rupa
called him.
Goswami's, this is just to set examples for others that one should be very careful about not offending. But in reality, uh, it does not happen like that.
Okay, because I was worried because he experienced some differences in his chanting, and that is how he started feeling that
That is
why it is happening
for
like
a
that.
perfected devotee, it never happens. That was just to set the right example for others.
No, what I'm saying, Prabhuji, that if that starts happening with us, that in spite of we not intending and somebody has taken
That's what
offense and
I'm
our
telling. It will
sadhana
not
starts
happen like that.
getting
It will
okay,
not happen. It will never happen. But
okay, okay, means
but
only in
but
their case.
but Krishna knows. Krishna knows. If you did that particular act because of a sense of disrespect in your heart, you may not see it as disrespect. But if from Krishna's vision, if it is an act performed due to disrespect, then for that punishment will be there. If it was completely inadvertent, you did not know anything at all. Like I gave the example of stepping on a tulsi, you did not even notice.
Mm.
Okay. But even at the side, at the bottom, there could be some disrespect that you know that in this particular area, there could be many tulsi, there are many
Okay.
tulsi plants, and on your path, there could be tulsi. But despite knowing that, out of a sense of disrespect, you did not look down carefully and walk. Okay. So
Mm.
even though you might have stepped on a tulsi leaf without looking at it, but at the bottom of it, there was knowledge that there are many tulsi plants here, and on your path, there could be tulsi leaves. You have to be careful. But you somehow, due to a sense of disrespect, you did not take it very seriously. So now that is not completely an inadvertent mistake. That
Act
mistake
of
has
omission.
a foundation of disrespect. So
Yeah.
for that, punishment will be there.
Okay.
So similarly, in our dealings with people also, we may say that, I did not know that he would get hurt by such a insignificant thing. But in our thinking that way, if it has a foundation of disrespect, then that disrespect will be punished.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Correct. Shiv Kumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavad pranams, Prabhu.
Nanda.
Prabhu, two or three quick things, Prabhu. I have one question, but before to that, I had few things to clarify, Prabhu, from past discussions. When we talk about this Pratyaksha Prabhana, you always give this example, Prabhu. Maybe I'm not understanding, but I'm sensing some gap in my understanding. You give this example of mobile battery, right, Prabhu? Uh, that the charge that's left out in the mobile is indicated by those indicators on the screen. But it is not pratyaksha, but it is
Shabda.
Shabda only. Yeah. So
Yeah.
on that, Prabhu, my question is, yes, it is Shabda, but is the way I understand is it is pratyaksha in the sense that the mobile is going to get switched off in shortly, and I see that no, Prabhu. In that sense, is it not pratyaksha?
Yeah. But mobile getting switched off is only due to discharge of battery. Is
Hmm.
that Shabda or Pratyaksha for you? Can you actually see charge?
Yeah, I cannot see the charge, Prabhu, but that is how I correlate, right? The
Yeah.
indicators on the screen to when
Okay.
it gets
If
switched off.
someone else told,
Hmm.
if from the beginning only someone told
Hmm.
that it was not due to discharge of battery, the mobile getting switching off is because the mobile has a sensor which can sense that you have spent a lot of time with the mobile. When it
Hmm.
senses like that, then it will switch off by itself. If someone would have told that to you from the beginning only,
Hmm. Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
then the mobile getting switched off, even though it is pratyaksha praman for you, how
Hmm.
you would have interpreted it?
Hmm.
You would have interpreted it as, oh, the sensor in the mobile
Hmm.
sense that I have spent a lot of time with the mobile, so the mobile got switched off.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's how you would have interpreted it.
Hmm.
So the first thing that someone communicated to you
Hmm.
was that, okay, the mobile has a battery, the
Hmm.
battery is charged, and when it gets when you spend a long time, the more you spend time, the more it will get discharged, and when it gets discharged beyond a particular limit, it will switch off.
Hmm.
Okay, that
Hmm.
was the Shabda Praman which was communicated to you in the beginning.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that Shabda Praman, when you saw the mobile getting switched off day in and day out, okay, you saw it, that Shabda Praman almost became like Pratyaksha Praman because you believed it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So the
Hmm.
first narrative was Shabda only.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Because ultimately charge cannot be seen.
Hmm.
The charging and discharging of a battery cannot be seen by a layman's eyes.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
needs some instruments to, and even those instruments, even through those instruments, you cannot actually see charge. You can only infer charge. It is
Hmm.
only Anuman. Okay.
Correct. Correct. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
That Anuman also has a source of Shabda Praman only.
Hmm. Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Hmm.
Ultimately.
Hmm.
So the same point I was using this to explain the law of karma,
Hmm.
that you do an act, you are suffering.
Hmm.
That is uh, that is kind of you are seeing that, but
Hmm.
who is bestowing it?
Hmm.
That is Shabda Praman only, na?
Hmm.
Because it is very natural. People who do not accept the Shastras, they do not accept law of karma also.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not that they are lacking Pratyaksha Praman in this world.
Hmm.
They do have Pratyaksha Praman, but they do not see, they cannot see. Because if it is outright Pratyaksha means what you are seeing, they should also be able to see,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But if it is not Pratyaksha,
Hmm.
it is outright Shabda. That's why you are able to see it as Shabda Praman. Someone else is able to see it in a different way.
Hmm.
Okay. But because we have heard and accepted law of karma from the beginning,
Hmm.
we somehow felt that is the only way of dispensing punishment and reward.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. That as we have internalized it so deeply that we are unwilling to believe that there could be another system of punishment and reward.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So when you believe on a particular Shabda Praman very strongly,
Hmm.
we start seeing as if it is Shabda Praman, as if it is Pratyaksha Praman only.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is the point.
Hmm.
So that's why I said your acceptance of law of karma is based on the Shastras. It is Shabda Praman only.
Hmm.
So if you can accept law of karma based on Shabda Praman,
Hmm.
why can't you accept um, the hand of Krishna based on the same Shabda Praman?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
When Krishna says, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana,
Hmm.
ma karma phala heturbo mate sangostva karmani. He says, do your duty and do your varnashrama duties and don't expect result, Krishna
Hmm.
says.
Hmm.
Okay. The
Hmm.
same Krishna says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja.
Hmm.
Right? So he says that give up all dharma and just surrender unto me. Now both instructions are given by Krishna in the same Bhagavad Gita only. Okay, but you accept both. You accept one as applicable to yourself and the other as applicable to someone else, isn't it? In the same way, when Krishna says, about law of karma, uh, and at the same time when he says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasati, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham, I personally provide what you lack and I personally, protect what you have. That is also Shabda Praman only. So how can we accept, only that Shabda Praman, which Krishna says that, okay, the law of karma is very dharmasya tattvam nihitam, or what is that, whatever. What is that? Gahana karmano gatihi. The law of karma is very difficult to understand when he says that, we accept. But when the same Krishna says, for a devotee, I protect what he have and I provide what he lacks, why should we disbelieve it? Both are Shabda Praman only for us.
Okay. So, Prabhu, couple of things here, Prabhu. When we say law of karma is Shabda Praman, is that a right understanding that because not all my actions produce immediate results? So, when it takes time to produce the results, it is adrishtam for me. Is that the sense
Yeah.
we say that it is based on
Or
Shabda Praman, right, Prabhu?
even if you get immediate results, who is giving you that result? Is that Pratyaksha? Right? Who is giving you that result? That is not Pratyaksha. You are basically not seeing the person who is behind the counter who is giving you the ticket. Okay. So now someone says that there is a lady sitting behind the counter, ticket counter. Someone else says, no, it is a male. Till now it was a female. Now it is a male who is providing you the ticket. Okay. But you can't see who is behind the counter. You just get the ticket out. That's all. Okay. So that lady was Maya Devi. Now that male is Krishna. So ultimately, and your ticket is your happiness and distress that you get. Okay. So ultimately, because we have heard there is a lady who gives ticket, there is a lady who gives ticket, there is a lady who gives ticket. So even without seeing who is behind the counter, we started believing it must be a lady who gives the ticket. So now when someone says, no, till now it was the lady, now it will be a man who will be giving the ticket, we find it difficult to understand because we think we know. I know it is a lady behind. Oh, how do you know? Have you seen?
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
behind the counter, we cannot see.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
even though you may be able to see that you do an action, you get the reaction. Or you give the money, you get the ticket. But who is giving the ticket, do you know?
Yes, Prabhu. For a
That's the
devotee,
point.
yes, Prabhu. For a devotee, I understood and understand. But I am asking more in terms of one who believes in karma kandya itself. For him, no, this thing
For him
Shabda.
also it is Shabda only.
So Shabda. But there, for him, who is giving is just the action itself, right, Prabhu? For a karma kandya person, there isn't any. Uh,
There isn't any what?
there isn't any third person that is involved, but it's just the action itself that is giving result.
Yeah, the action itself cannot give result. Someone has to give the result, right? There has to be some system for giving that result.
Is this the understanding for even a karma kandya person, Prabhu?
Yeah, of course. Whether
And
he understands or not, but he may not see. There are two things. One is I put the money, I give the money, I will get the ticket. Someone
mm,
may choose to not think beyond that.
mm,
Okay. Someone
mm,
may think if
mm,
I give money,
mm,
the person will give me ticket.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So one person is choosing to see beyond it. Some person may choose to see not beyond it. Someone may say that if I give money, I will get ticket. Only
mm.
that much he chooses to see. Whether he sees or not sees.
Okay.
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 But the point is, yeah.
Okay. Mm. Okay, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, one more small thing, Prabhu. Now, the observation by the senses is what primarily we mean by pratyaksha. Now, what I feel as good and bad, what I feel as good and bad, or I like and don't like by the mind, is that also Pratyaksha Pramana, Prabhu, accepted as Pratyaksha Pramana?
Yeah, that is based on your past sensory experiences.
Only,
So
yes.
there is that pratyaksha is the foundation for that.
Yes, Prabhu. So the the experience by the mind cannot be rejected as rejected, no, in when it comes to the scope of this Pratyaksha Pramana discussions.
Yeah, it cannot.
It cannot. Okay. So, Prabhu, with this thing, just one with this background, Prabhu, this is the question that I had. We understand the soul is the one who is experiencing the pain and pleasure in this world by means of by virtue of identifying with the subtle and gross body, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
So on that front, if soul is the experiencer, how do we also understand that the soul is still aloof from the material life, Prabhu, material world and material experience? As Shastra says in numerous places, it is still aloof.
Yeah, it is still aloof in the sense he is not really affected by that material circumstance. Like, he is not burnt by fire, really. He thinks he has been burnt because of his identification. Just like a person in dream, he thinks that, my head has been chopped off, but your head has not been chopped off. It is something that you're experiencing in your dream. The moment you wake up from your dream, you realize that you neither had a head nor was it chopped off.
Okay.
Or in this example of the dream, okay, your head is still intact. You may see like that. So the jiva, as long as he is in this conditioned state, he imagines himself to be affected. But once he comes out of that in a conditioned state, he realizes that I was never in touch. But because of my wrong identification, I was thinking like that.
Okay. So the sense of reality, Prabhu, like the way I get affected during the duration of the dream, like that only when I am associated with this gross and subtle body, it is real, right, Prabhu? Outside of this, it has no bearing on this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay. We still have 1 minute time. If it's a short question, I'll quickly answer. Yes, Keshav Priyamataji.
Prabhuji, it's a short thing only, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you are discussing about guna and karma now, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So I just want to have one clarification, Prabhuji. Is that karma is not from the guna, Prabhuji? Like any guna by practice, they can have different karmas also, Prabhuji?
No. When we say karma, here we mean activity.
Activity only,
Not
Prabhuji.
karmic
I am
reaction.
sure. No. I am asking about activity. For example, Brahmanas can chant mantra. So if someone else, a Kshatriya or Vaishya, if he practiced to chant mantra, he also can do, Prabhuji. Is it possible?
No, not possible.
Then how can you explain that, Prabhuji? Then what is the purpose of that shloka? It is Krishna saying.
Guna karma vibhagashya means whatever may be your guna, if you perform karma according to that guna, then you are a part of that varna. That's what it means.
No, not that shloka, Prabhuji. What Mother Gail asked, Prabhuji. It is good to practice your own karma
properly.
Then practice. Then if then practicing someone else's karma means does not indicate that it is possible to practice someone else's karma, Prabhuji. This doubt I have.
Yeah, you can do, but it will have opposite effects. You will get bad results. It is just like a person who is afflicted with jaundice, very regularly eating the medicine of a malaria person. It will only aggravate his problem more.
But the activity is possible, Prabhuji. Like you explain.
I mean, why
archery.
is it not possible?
That's what I'm asking.
No, Ekalavya can go and do that. But whether he will internally progress by that or not, we do not know.
That point I'm not asking, Prabhuji. The first part only. Is it possible for all four varnas to practice any practice by any activity?
Why not? Why not? They can do. But by that they will not become that varna.
Yeah. That part you explained very clearly.
All the
Yeah.
explanations are so clear today, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay, it's time. I'm sorry. I know there are few more hands up, but I don't have the time to take. Maybe tomorrow we will take those questions. So we will have to pause here. Thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.